An exit interview with Madison College President Bettsey Barhorst this morning on For the Record. Good morning, I'm Nell Heinen. That Bettsey Barhorst departure from Madison College is tinged with a bit of controversy is perhaps no surprise. It's not the first to accompany her 9 years as president of the college. We will talk about that this morning, but we'll also talk about a college dramatically different from the one Barhorst found when she came here from leading a community college in Iowa in 2004, and some remarkable accomplishments. As I welcome to For the Record, Bettsey Barhorst. Bettsey, thank you. Nice to see you.
Oh, great to see you.
The first time you and I talked, this institution was known as Madison Area Technical College. If you Googled it, you got the Milwaukee.
That's right, Milwaukee
College site.
Right.
It was considerably smaller than it is now.
Yeah.
It's been quite 9 years, huh?
Yeah, it has. It has. It's been wonderful. Just great. What we've been able to accomplish. I mean, I said when I came here, and I actually had studied some, the potential here is amazing. Being in the same city with the University of Wisconsin-Madison is such a bonus for us. Not only in that we have some of the top teachers in community colleges in the country who come to us, but also because we get to work with the university and the whole university system.
How much of this was part of your vision when you took the job? Did you realize that it needed to grow, that its image had to change? I mean, was that all part of your initial plan?
Yes, all of that. And that's been one of my problems, and also one of the good things is that I can always see where it could be, and it did need some help. Our buildings hadn't been addressed since 1974, the last time that they ran a referendum. And after having done that, I understand why, because it's so difficult to deal with all the different entities and all the different rules and regs that you have to do. So I understood that, but it needed that desperately. It was called letters. And that didn't really give it a sense of where it was and how important it was. Our official name still is Madison Area Technical College, but we wanted to push the idea that this is not a tech school that is easy for anyone to go to or the last choice, but that this is a college and that you can start here and go anywhere, and that we train the best for this whole community, and we give everyone a chance to go on.
Yeah.
So a lot of things.
And I always forget that there are viewers that don't realize the breadth of the institution. It's not just the Truax campus we're talking about here.
Right. 9 sites.
Nine sites.
5 in Madison, and then 4 in the outlying areas, Reedsburg, Portage, Watertown, and Fort Atkinson.
And that's important because part of the growth, part of the new facilities paid for by the referendum are not necessarily on the Truax
That's
campus.
right. Now, obviously, the Truax was the most dramatic, but every one of those communities where we are, and in those smaller cities, once I called them villages, so I'm very careful to call Portage a city. Yeah. That means a lot in that area, and with the more difficulty that students have with transportation, the cost of transportation, those are important programs too.
We were just looking at some of the pictures of some of the new building on campus, including the Bettsey Barhorst Visitor Center, right?
That's
the Welcome Center.
The Welcome Center, and that's just that booth. The whole building is called the Gateway Center. So just wanted to note that.
Yep. Is everything done? Is all the construction done?
Almost. This morning, as I was looking, this is Sunday. Sorry.
Right.
Last week, when I was looking around, I saw that they're still frantically working on the outside part, but on the inside, most of that is finished. They're also frantically working on the backfill, which is the old building where we were changing into the new labs and the new kinds of classrooms that we need. So that's still going on, but I think they will make it amazingly.
And just tell us, Bettsey, was it a sense of completion that made retirement possible for you, or what's the?
Yes, I kept thinking the last few years. I mean, I'm 67 years old, and my parents were having health issues, and I decided no, and they're in St. Louis. I need to be closer, and that it's probably time for someone else. And I really feel that many CEOs, many presidents stay too long. And so I got to thinking, did I use my talents, and now is it time for someone else? So, and I also realized that with the publicity, the good publicity, all the awards we've won at the college, all the new buildings, that this was a good time to be able to get a leader in the community college world to come in. So I figured it was best for the college and best for me. So that's why I decided time to look at next stage in life and what else do I want to do.
Sure. I was looking around and I found something from the Clarion, which just interested me because it's the campus paper, right?
Yeah, that's the student's paper.
So
yeah.
This is a piece that was written right after you announced your retirement, and the writer threw in perhaps a bit of editorial comment right there in the middle. But she says, what Barhorst has demonstrated from arriving in 2004 at the college is an ability of knowing who to reach out to, how to reach out, and how to propel the college forward. And I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing to have in the student paper.
Yeah.
This recognition of your, apparently, an appreciation for your building relationships. And I assume that means president to student is,
of course,
and other things.
Of course, because the students are the most important thing. And so, and with the students, I met students every day. I went in the hall every day. And the halls, and talked to students, found out their stories, because how can I convey to the community about these students if I don't know them? And I gave out a lot of blue T-shirts because we're in a red city.
We're showing the first day.
Oh,
your first day on the job. Holy smokes!
Now the important thing is I can still get into those clothes, which is very difficult here in Wisconsin, where we eat so well, and we have such a wonderful culinary program at our school.
Yeah, that's something else I'm looking forward to seeing developed, and hopefully that's still going to be downtown, right?
Yes, but it's one of the things that I couldn't get done in time. If we hadn't had the Great Recession, we would have had it. But we're right now where we were in '08 in terms of looking at partnerships and what we were going to do. So
when we come back, we're going to talk about Madison College's role in the community and perhaps how that's changed in 9 years. So right after this. I am back with Madison College President, soon to be retired President Bettsey Barhorst. We'll talk about the transition in a minute, but I did want to just touch on the role of the college, Bettsey, in the community, and one in relation to the University of Wisconsin and Edgewood, and then to other community institutions like United Way. And what do people need to know about Madison College's role in all of that?
Well, that we're an important role. For example, at the university, we send so many students there, and they do well. And not just to Madison, by the way, to also to UW Whitewater, who is a great partner with us. So, and Edgewood, same thing. We're the largest source of their their junior transfers.
Right.
So same as we are at Madison. So,
but you and I have talked about this. It's also a two-way street.
Yes, because their students come back to us too. Or particularly, I really push the importance of the liberal arts degrees as a good foundation for other things, and for the students who then can't get a job but can come back to us and within a year find something that they really have passion for, put that together with their four-year degree, and they are very marketable.
Are you satisfied with the role of Madison College? Is it where it needs to be and should be?
Well, there's always a president of Madison College will always want to more people to know how wonderful we are, and there's no way that we will not be within the shadow of one of the best universities in the world. And so that that could be hard to take, but not really for us, because we work with them back and forth so well. And so that's all right. I wish in the community people would realize how valuable Madison College is for their everyday lives, how every person, every service that they deal with probably has one of our graduates.
Don't you think that was reflected a little bit in the approval of the referendum, though?
I do. And I also believe, however, that Madison is a community that is so pro-education that helped too. But definitely, I believe people understood that their students go here, they go here. And in fact, that leads me to something more of the adults come all the time. And of course during the recession, but even now for training, retraining, enhancing skills.
Lifelong learning.
Lifelong learning, that's what we do, yeah.
It's frustrating that I don't know that we've ever had a substantive conversation about the college without fundraising being a part of it. It's just
Yes.
just one of those realities.
It is.
And yet, I mean, I think people think, all right, we passed the referendum, everything's fine.
Right.
You know, we pay a chunk of our tax bills to Madison College, and yet you're constantly dealing.
Yes, we are.
With with insufficient resources, right?
That's right.
Is that
That's
fair
right.
to say that?
It is, and again, it's not just here that is a national trend. Somehow, state universities in this country, people forget that they pay for them mostly. We only get 8% of our taxes from the state, but we do get local, and that is more obvious to people. But we're public supported, but we're also private supported. And so it's very difficult to make the case. I always say we don't have a football team, but we do have the best culinary in the Midwest. So that kind of makes up for it. But we do. It is hard to get people to donate to our college compared to a large university anywhere, and a small college like Edgewood College also. Many of their alums have come from us, but once they go to the big school, that's and that happens a lot, and that's just understandable.
And that's a challenge for the foundation in particular, isn't it? Because schools are dependent in a lot of ways on a solid foundation, and Madison College has struggled for some of the reasons you just mentioned. To develop that.
Yes. We have all these buildings that could be named.
Right.
And it doesn't cost nearly as much to name one of our buildings as it does a building at a large university. Just to mention that.
You've made some strategic decisions. The college has nursing, some of the culinary, some of the programs that we've talked about. But in terms of the 21st century global economy, is the college well positioned in terms of what it's offering students as needs continually change for skills and?
Oh yes, this is such a critical time. It's one of the reasons I do have trouble leaving, because this is when we need all the best to give these students what we've been saying at the college for 6 or 7 years now. I've been saying we've got to train them for jobs that will solve problems that we don't even know the problems yet. And so that means they need the critical thinking skills. They need their math and their science and their writing and all of those things to be able to deal with all the changes that will be coming. So we do that. You talked about global. We've increased our international students and the ability for our students to go overseas as much as we could and can with our limited budgets. So that's another piece of that. And then, of course, the technology. We have just redone what we do in technology and come a long way. Never enough. That's always sort of a black hole for all schools these days. But we've tried to keep up as much as possible. And we have a wonderful IT program. We were the leaders in security. 5 years ago, our people were teaching and training the rest of the faculties in the Midwest, not just in Wisconsin, on the idea that security was going to be a big issue in IT.
Well, we're going to talk about the transition when we come back
Okay.
with President Bettsey Barhorst right after this.
It's important not to come in with a set plan. I think it's going to be important to work with the administrators and faculty, determine what are the best ways strategically to move forward. What I believe is appropriate is the transition that needs to occur. There's a lot of history with Dr. Barhorst. 8 years of history, 9 years of history. When it comes that time, we need to make a decision on, do we shorten it, the length of time, then I will engage the board with that decision.
That is Jack Daniels, who is the incoming president of Madison College. My guest on For the Record this morning is the outgoing president, Bettsey Barhorst. Did you know Jack Daniels at all, Bettsey, before?
I knew of him because I had been in Illinois at a college running as a vice president, but I really did not know him. It's been a pleasure to get to know him. What a great choice the board made. You know, as an outgoing president, you think, will they really be good enough? And then you think, well, I don't want them to be too good,
Yeah,
but you
right,
do.
right.
You do. They made a wonderful choice and a person with the right background.
He talked about the transition, and this past week there was a story about the transition. Give me your interpretation of this, Bettsey.
Sure. Well, in June, when the board offered me this this idea that I would stay around, even though I wasn't president anymore, to help out as much as possible, was done for a number of reasons. One was that when I came, I didn't have this kind of help, and the first 6 months were very difficult for me. Very difficult, and they did not want this to happen, especially at a time when we're opening the new buildings, we're starting new programs, we have all these new kinds of classrooms that are flexible. There's so much going on that we couldn't afford to have someone come in and lose 6 months. Secondly, at that time, they hadn't even started to interview. So they didn't know if this would be a failed search or would they find the right person. So they wanted to be sure that there would be stability in place. And then our number 2 and number 3, that would be the provost and then the vice president of students, both of them were experiencing some health difficulties at that time. So the bench was a little weak at that time. So for all those reasons, they wanted to ensure that that there would be a smooth transition. We wouldn't miss a beat. The college would keep going forward. So that's why they did it at that time.
Do you feel like they mishandled it in any way in terms of public relations or in terms of the way it rolled out?
No, I really don't think so. They are very transparent about what they do. If someone asks, we give them the information, and they were doing what they felt was best for the school as a whole, but particularly for the students, so that the students would not see any blip, no hiccup, nothing. Things would still go smoothly, and so so I agreed to that. And we sold our home, but we sold it to someone who's letting us stay in it. So things are working out all right. Now, I have to say that I'm just really impressed with Dr. Daniels and with his capacity to understand things. Wisconsin is a difficult state to understand. We've been talking this week about some of the idiosyncrasies of the system here, and of statutes that were written a long time ago for technical colleges, when actually Madison College for 45 years or so has been a community college. So we've been talking about all that, and his eyes sort of get big. You mean this is the way it is? But in any case, he grasps it. He's doing well, and I'm enjoying that part of being able just to be there to help him for whatever he needs.
But this is a fairly fluid arrangement in terms of what he will ask of you and what you will offer to him. I couldn't tell if he sort of implied that there may be a lesser need or for your services, and if that happens, do you withdraw sooner?
Sure. Well, the whole point is the end game is what's best for the college and the students, and our board is very cognizant of that, and and so it really will be what he wants. Now, part of me says, I hope he needs me a lot because I think I was okay. The other part is, oh, okay, you're on your own, and that's fine, and I don't want to get in your way. So it is fluid, that's right, as needed, and I'm willing, and they know, the board knows that, and I always have been willing to do whatever is necessary for the college.
But as far as you're concerned, you're ready to work until December 31st, and then
if I need to, yes,
that's it.
Yes, right. Whatever is needed, and however much is needed, and so, and you know what else? It's a very big school. People kind of forget that we do serve almost 40,000 students, and that we have nine sites, and that it's a big job. So I'm here to help.
So if you could change something,
sure,
and maybe do President Daniels a favor. What needs to be changed? You know, when I think about some of the issues that have come up, we've talked about fundraising, but labor's an issue, dealing with the legislature's an issue, you know, even public understanding is an issue.
Right.
What are some things that would
all of
be
those
most
things
helpful?
What would I wish? I would wish that he gets the chance to tell the college's story, and to tell. Obviously, you can't always tell the whole story because of personnel things.
Did you get the chance to tell the story?
Some.
Okay.
I did on your show,
well,
whenever possible. Not always with the other media.
Did you do the Rotary gig and stuff?
Oh my gosh,
Yep,
over and over.
Right,
yeah,
right.
love to do Rotary. Yeah, and all the Rotaries.
And
but,
you were active in
downtown.
United Way. I mean,
Yes,
it seems
I was on that
seems
board,
like you were
and,
telling the story wherever you could.
I did wherever I could.
Yeah.
Yes, I still wear the college as the college
Yes,
symbol
yes, you do.
around my neck.
Yes, you do.
And it's amazing how many people then ask about the college. It's what I do. Every grocery store I've ever been to, I check where the cashiers go to school, and if they do, and I've been out in the community a lot, and they want to continue that, you know, and particularly with not just the United Way and the Chamber of Commerce, which is very critical,
Yep, I'm just gonna mention
but
that.
also with the business community itself, and you know, we have all of these advisory boards, and that's how we meet and get and stay attuned with what do our employers need. But I was out there a lot too to do that. So I'm sure that what I wish there were more was more time in the day for a president, because there is so much to tell and do. And the thing is, we have a school to be proud of, and faculty who are some of the best in the country. So in fact, we had the best. Last year we were chosen as the best faculty member. And so what more can you ask except to get our story out?
Yeah. Bettsey, congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Enjoy the next phase of your life, and
Thank you.
enjoy this transition period.
Thank you very much.
We're going to come back and wrap up For the Record right after this. My thanks to Bettsey Barhorst for being here this morning. For the Record will be off next week due to U.S. Open tennis coverage. We'll be back on September 8th with the new executive director of Central Hispano. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks.